I recently saw this very new trend that's everywhere in India. If you visit any tier 1 city in India, you will see this popping up everywhere on every single street in the city. Well, I'm talking about supermarkets. It looks like the typical condiments and grocery store in India is evolving, and it's taking up the form of a supermarket. Every other grocery store is now starting to look like this. And very soon, most of them will probably start looking like this. But where did India even get this idea of a supermarket in the first place? Well, from America, of course. The moment you walk into one of these stores, there are hundreds of brands in there trying to grab your attention. And they're doing this with their packaging. It's almost exactly like how it's here on YouTube. There are hundreds and thousands of creators on this platform, and they all need your attention almost exactly like in a supermarket. And the only difference is that in a supermarket, it's their packaging, and here on YouTube, it's the thumbnail. Although we now have supermarkets here in India, everywhere, it's nothing compared to what it is like in the US. There's actually a pretty big gap in our supermarkets. The majority of the brands and products that you see in our supermarkets are owned by these big companies. And the worst part, most of them aren't even companies of Indian origin. So we started digging into it. Why is this happening? Are these supermarkets giving a preference to these foreign conglomerates over Indian ones? Turns out that's not the case. Supermarkets don't really care if it's a foreign one or if it's an Indian one. To them, it's all about inventory and what sells. Turns out people who come to these supermarkets buy more of these foreign branded products over Indian ones. And it's not really their fault either. Most of our Indian brands in these supermarkets are practically invisible to these buyers. But why? Two words: poor packaging. Take a look at these two products. You might not see a significant difference in them when you look at them one-on-one. But if you look at them in a supermarket like this, then you start to see the difference. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, then there are some very important branding insights in this video that we can learn from America. So, without any further ado, let's get started. America understands product packaging. Designing a product packaging isn't just about how it looks. Take a look at these two product packages. It's the exact same product. Both the packages look really good when presented with a choice like this. Most of us would just pick one based on our gut feeling and go ahead with it. But that's not the case in the US. Well, to them, it's all about making the buyer feel a certain way when they look at this packaging. The unhealthy products are made to look like they're healthy, while the healthy products are packaged like they're made for kids. I'm not here to say or discuss what they're doing is right or wrong. This is just an observation. They literally have a packaging for everybody. Meanwhile, here in India, most of our local products look like this. Sure, there may be some buyers for this product, but you're not optimizing your product for the maximum reach. For example, a healthy food like protein that looks like it's made for kids with all the cool and funky packaging does really well when compared to a protein that's made to look like it's a medicine or a medical prescription. Coming back to the point of optimizing for maximum reach brings us to the second insight: optionality. When the then president of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, flew to the US, he was shocked when he saw the supermarkets in America. From trying the free samples of cheese to staring at the frozen food section, Yeltsin was simply amazed by the optionality there. At first, he thought they were putting up a show for him. But after he realized that every American supermarket looks exactly like that, he even went back to Russia and gave up on communism just 2 years later. There seems to be some kind of a relationship when it comes to optionality and the GDP per capita of a country. The US has some insane optionality in their products. They have Coca-Cola in cherry flavor, vanilla flavor, to even raspberry spiced flavor. They even have some special versions with lemon and coffee flavors. The number of options you can find on any product is endless. If you look for something like Lay's, there's one for everybody. Looking to lose weight, they have a Lay's for you. Looking for something premium and exotic, they have one for you as well. And this is the same with all of their products. The big reason all this doesn't exist in India yet is because of our GDP per capita. A massive number of people in America earn enough for such discretionary spending, which isn't the case here in India. But as our GDP increases over the years, we might see more such products pop up here in India as well. Now this brings us to the next insight. Premiumization. Well, this concept of premiumization started in the US, where it originated as a shift in consumer behavior when people began to prioritize higher quality, more exclusive products and were willing to pay a premium price for them. Now, don't confuse premiumization with luxury. A Rolls-Royce is positioned as a luxury car, but a Volvo is a premium car. This trend, although is picking up now in India, is still just at its infant stages. Some of the big brands in India like Tata and Mahindra have gradually changed their positioning to a premium offering. But when compared to legacy brands, it is much easier for newer brands to create a premium positioning. To position a brand as premium requires a little more than just thinking about the product and the product quality and its packaging. It also requires you to think about the environment of the product, the vibe, the presentation, and the aesthetics. This could be either in your own store or in a supermarket. Big American brands like Colgate always stand out in a supermarket. And this isn't just because of their packaging and product. They are staged in their deck to look that way. They have their own lighting and their own branded station inside a supermarket that acts as a differentiator. This brings us to the last insight. Expanding to the world. You take any big brand in the US, from McDonald's to Coca-Cola to Apple and Nike. They're available everywhere in the world. It's not because they're successful that they're available all over the world, but because they're available all over the world that makes them successful. Most of our Indian brands limit themselves to a very small geographic location. Look at Balaji Chips. They have a 95% market share in Gujarat, but 95% of people in Bangalore have never heard of them. Haldiram's, who operate one of the biggest restaurants in the country, go anywhere in South India. Everybody thinks they're just an aloo bhujia brand. Every product, every brand has a target addressable market, or TAM, as it's called in the startup space. TAM is basically how big of a market can your brand serve. The brands in the US always ensure that their TAM is the entire world, while most Indian brands are still trying to compete in a very small geography of that market. The American story of the American dream is a brilliant story for America. So it's now the time for the Indian story to reach the world. My bet is on India and the Indian brands. We have the capacity to make better products than America, and I think a lot more brands from India are going to pop up on the global stage. That's it for me. If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more such content in the future. Bye.